is because I think
that 63 to 30.
Definitely, it should have been higher. It should have been higher. The Patriots are definitely a better team than Green Bay because they have a more reliable defense. Because not just because of the personnel. You know, when you think about Green Bay, you think about Clay Matthews. Not to say that he's the only guy that can play, but that's what you think about. You think about how Clinton Dix and those boys, but you know, you don't think about them the way you think about a Revis or a McCourty or Vince Wilfork and those boys. You just don't. And so as a result of that, when you combine that with the fact that Bill Belichick is the one that's your head coach, not to knock McCarthy because he's won a Super Bowl himself and he's to be respected, but at the same time, you just look at the personnel. You look at who New England is, you know how they're tried and tested, and you flow with that. On the offensive side of the ball, it's a bit different because when you look at the talent that is Aaron Rodgers against Tom Brady, as much as I love and respect Tom Brady and the greatness that he continuously displays, I believe that Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback in football. I am going as far as to say that I believe that when all is said and done, we will look at Aaron Rodgers as arguably the greatest quarterback in NFL history. Wow. That's how I feel about him. I think that
greatest in NFL. Did you just say that?
He just said it.
I really feel that way. I'm just telling you how I feel. I just feel that way. I'm going strictly by the eye test. I'm not going to go by numbers, even though I got 28 touchdowns, just 3 interceptions, a 120 quarterback rating, you know, at 85 QBR. I'm not going to go by any of that because there are times when, you know, again, I don't appreciate the fact that Aaron Rodgers didn't go after Richard Sherman. That was a huge turnoff for me. Not that it was a bad game, is that he didn't even try to attack Richard Sherman. That really was a turnoff for me. But to this day, that is the only turnoff moment I've ever had in watching Aaron Rodgers. I watched this dude throw a spiral. I think about nobody other than Dan Marino. I watched this dude run with the football, throw the football on the run, and the combination of the package that he presents. I know that Tom Brady can fling that football too. Tom Brady can't scramble and run and have the athleticism that an Aaron Rodgers does. But Aaron Rodgers could throw the football just as well as Tom Brady, if not better at times. I look at the complete package that is Aaron Rodgers, and I think not right now because it is still too early. But I think when his career is over, when we have a discussion about who's the greatest quarterback in NFL history, I believe that Aaron Rodgers will be in that conversation. He's a bad man in my eyes. He's one of the greatest quarterbacks I've ever seen already. And when all is said and done, when we talking about top 5, arguably top 3, he will be in the conversation as one of the greatest quarterbacks we have ever seen. He is that gifted as a quarterback.
And I think you are being, once again, prisoner of yesterday's moment.
How? I've been saying this about him for years.
What happened last year in the playoffs at Lambeau Field?
I agree.
Help me out.
Yeah.
Help me out.
They lost.
I'm trying to remember.
They lost.
You don't remember?
They lost. You mean after he broke his collarbone and then came back with a couple of games left and he was out for most of the season?
He was fine.
Really? He's just fine.
He's just fine.
He's just fine, right? He's just fine. Really. After being gone for about 9 weeks. Okay. Okay.
Okay. Back to Kerry's question.
Yes. Well, you're the one that went off it. I'm here.
I was just responding to you. Number one, before I answer your question, Tom Brady is better than Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, gosh.
And I'm going to tell you why. The New England Patriots are much better than Green Bay Packers, and I'm glad you didn't go there. So you actually did an RG3, like you're just going quarterback, but the rest of them are any good.
Answer the question.
Okay. So just for the record, Green Bay's defense is now 25th in yards allowed, so they're not very good. Mark Sanchez made them look a lot better than they deserved to look yesterday. Okay. So now I look at the Packers, and I'm going to give you Clay Matthews because he's come back to life, which occasionally can be death for the opposition. They're moving him around more. They used him more outside yesterday than inside, it appeared to my eye, but they're moving him, and he is creating havoc. And he will create some havoc in 2 weeks when Tom Brady and company visit Lambeau Field. But I'm going to go back to what I've been trying to explain. Green Bay has become like New Orleans used to be. Green Bay is a product of Lambeau Field. When you take that offense and that great quarterback, maybe the all-time greatest quarterback on the road, he's not all-time great anymore because you brought up the Seattle game in Seattle. They lost 19-7 at Detroit. They lost 44-23 to this group down in New Orleans right now. That's not really the Saints anymore.
That's the one that's alarming. But Seattle and Detroit were two of the elite.
So let me throw this number at you. Right now, Your Green Bay Packers are averaging 43.8 points a game at home. That's astonishing to me. That's virtually unbeatable. On the road, they're averaging almost half as much, 22.2 on the road. Guess who on the road is averaging more points than your Green Bay Packers? Tampa Bay Buccaneers are averaging a point better on the road than Aaron Rodgers, the greatest quarterback in history, arguably, is averaging on the road. 43.8 at home, 22.2 on the road. Well, does that make you great?
Well, let me say this.
I don't think that makes you great.
Let me ask you a question, Skip, because I'm being very, very serious here. You often break this down for me, because I want to make sure I'm accurate with this. You almost sound like he's in the same category as a Jay Cutler. He's the most gifted. Like you would prefer if I said he was the most gifted. Aaron Rodgers is a Super Bowl champion. Aaron Rodgers has delivered the goods. And so all I'm trying to say to you, you can point to playoff victories or playoff losses here or there. Tom Brady has had them. Peyton Manning has had them. Matter of fact, you go as far as to say Peyton Manning is the greatest regular season quarterback in NFL history, but in the postseason, not so much. There are hiccups with everything. Tom Brady hasn't won a Super Bowl championship in 10 years. So I'm looking at it. All right, there are things we can say about Tom Brady. There are things that we can say about Drew Brees. He's been a turnover waiting to happen as of late. He's still great. You look at Peyton Manning. There are things that we can say about him as it pertains to his performance in the postseason. The list goes on and on. But what I'm saying is when you ask yourself, if you were a scout or you were a team executive, and I'm saying take all those things into consideration, because with Tom Brady, I'm not refuting anything that you say about his greatness. Let me be clear. Tom Brady's Tom Brady. He's legit. He's the real deal. But if you were an executive and you are looking at these guys in terms of what you want for and require from a quarterback, who can definitively say that there is somebody that I would take over Aaron Rodgers based on what we've seen? Now, if you want to argue with me about Tom Brady, we can have that debate.
Are we just talking like in a vacuum or on tape, watching him throw the football?
Whatever way you want. I guess what I'm trying to say to you is that you can debate with me about Tom Brady. What I'm asking you to appreciate is the fact that that's pretty much all you've got. All right, I got Tom Brady, which is saying a lot. I'm saying to you, Aaron Rodgers is such a bad boy. That's the only conversation worthy of having. Because when you look at the way this dude throws the football, when you look at how he delivers the goods and how he produces, you can't say enough about this guy. I don't see weaknesses in this dude's game as a quarterback. I don't see any.
Have you seen any on the road this year? How did they score only 7 at Detroit?
Well, again, Detroit shocked a lot of people. It's a bad week. Look at Peyton Manning. You know that's an aberration. He lost to St. Louis yesterday. But we're looking at it. We're talking about offensive line. We're talking about some of the problems that they've had. We're saying Denver will fix this because we know Peyton Manning. Skip, in a career, over the totality of a season, you're going to look at various things and say, hey, you know, they didn't have it this week. I looked at Aaron Rodgers. I found it egregious that, to me, the best quarterback in football didn't go after Richard Sherman. How do you not do that? To me, that's a heart issue. I was very upset with him about that.
Sure.
That's it. To me, other than that, there's a bad week here or there,
all right,
but he's a bad boy.
If we're just doing in a vacuum, I think right now Aaron Rodgers is a slightly better thrower of the football than Tom Brady. He is and I don't use this word a lot on this show, Aaron Rodgers is a great thrower of the football. But Tom Brady's still pretty close. I'm telling you, the velocity is still breathtaking to me. And when you go to Indianapolis, into their dome with that noise on a Sunday night, a game that the Colts are pointing toward making a national statement, and you convert 9 out of 12 third downs, and 6 of them are by pass, that is big-time clutch throwing.
But you're forgetting what I said about Tom Brady a few weeks ago. I said if Tom Brady and the New England Patriots are in that Super Bowl, they don't get blown out because the one intangible that he's got is heart and passion. Tom Brady is an elite competitor of the highest order. And I look at that and I go like this, and I'd still take Aaron Rodgers. This brother is bad. I'm trying to tell you right now, Aaron Rodgers to me, when I think about Aaron Rodgers, let me tell you, I've never played football, never desired to play football, don't ever want to be an NFL player. I was always too slim for that. I ain't trying to get my bones broke. I'm sorry. And I'm telling you something right now. I look at Aaron Rodgers with the combination of just admiration, and jealousy. This dude, I'm like, damn, he's a bad boy. He can just throw that football. When I think of a quarterback, this is the guy I look at, man.
Okay, but
he's
since
special.
his Super Bowl, has he done special things in the postseason? He has not. I'm sorry, he hasn't.
Okay, Skip.
One year he finished regular season, he lost to Christian Ponder at home.
I'm just saying to you, Tom Brady hasn't won in 10 years. How you going to bring that up on Aaron Rodgers and not bring up the fact that Tom Brady ain't won in 10 years?
But he keeps getting back to the championship game.
Which team is better? That was the question. Somehow
and
I knew.
We said the Patriots.
I knew it would go into the better quarterback debate.
Because there is no debate about which is the better team.
It's the Patriots.
Definitely
but he says it's Aaron Rodgers, the better quarterback. You say.
Oh, come on. Give me Tom Brady when it's money time.